Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and we are going truly down the rabbit hole, or should that be the bonus hole, because we're going to look at what Rachel Levine, not his real name, Dr. Rachel Levine is a man who likes to put on woman face. He's a pretendy Wendy. He's also the health secretary in Biden's administration. And he says that they need to eradicate the word mother. Mother needs to stop being a word, and instead we use the term egg producer. So the world will be filled with men and egg producers. How about that then, ladies? Do you like that idea? Do you want to stop being women? Do you want to stop being a mother? You want to simply be an egg producer, like some form of battery hen, perhaps? So we'll have a look at this and see why this strange, weird, mentally ill man wants to eradicate over half the world and basically dehumanise them, remove their very existence, just simply so that very weird men like him can pretend to be women for a little while. We'll have a look at this and see what's going on. So Biden's trans health secretary, Dr. Rachel Levine, praises Alaska Gender Affirming Care Clinic. Now, the word gender affirming means child mutilation. When they talk about gender affirming, that's what they mean, mutilation of children. And so he's up for that. He's up for that. Because they're all these trans, they're all weird, and he's really up to mutilate children, taking from children things that are perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with them, but we just want to cut that off there and cut this off here so that you can pretend, like me, to be a pretendy Wendy, and everyone will be happy. Obviously, this mass sterilisation occurs at the same time. You'll never grow up happy. You'll be in pain for the rest of your life. Then when you do change your mind, you'll have regrets. And that's not to worry, because the self-ending rate of trans, post-op trans, is 10 times the higher than average. So chances are you won't make it to 30 anyway. That's what he calls care. Anyway, he wants the word mother replaced with the phrase egg producer. It's about now when he gets second amended, I think, because people like this are so destructive. The planet would be better off without them. Levine visited Identity Alaska, a non-profit community centre that provides resources and healthcare for the, and they're going to put here, the LGBTQIA2S+ and allied community. How about just taking the the LGB off it, and then all those other letters, the TQIA2S+ and allied community, just change it to weirdos, or predators, or abusers of children. There's so many options. The company say kids should learn that doctors assign gender to babies by making a guess. This is what the company says, that they assign a gender to a baby by making a guess, as opposed to what anyone with a brain and who isn't mentally ill says, which is sex is determined at the moment of conception. There is no guessing. That's the sex. End of story. And it doesn't matter what you call yourself, or what you take off, or what you put on, or what you do. That's your sex from the day you're born, well, from the day you're conceived till the day you die. And afterwards, because in 100 years' time they'll dig up some skeletons and go, oh, this is the skeleton of a man. He appears to be wearing lady clothes, but it's still a man. Just look at those manly hips. No childbearing hips there. Joe Biden's transgender and mentally ill health secretary has praised an Alaska Gender Affirming Care Clinic, slaughterer of children, which wants the word mother replaced with the phrase egg producer, because you can't have anything ladylike or feminine, because some men find that offensive, since they'll never ever ever be women, no matter how hard they want it. Dr. Rachel Levine, 65, is the highest ranking openly mad and transgender federal official in the country, and has long endorsed providing mass mutilation of children to minors, arguing that the treatment is life-saving. Well, only for organisations like you. It destroys the children. Levine visited Identity Alaska, a non-profit community centre that provides resources and healthcare for, and then it gangs all these together, but they're all completely different. It's like saying, oh, I've got a set, it's like in set theory. What's your set? Geese playing cards and buns. What have they got in common? Nothing. But they're a set, yeah. Why they're a set? They're the set that contains everything that is not in a set. And if you get that, you're well done. Set theory, it's the conundrum of set theory. Anyway, but LGB has got nothing to do with TQIA2S. The L, G and B are attractions. Everything after that, mental illness. Anyway, we know what it stands for. We don't care. He showed up on August the 6th and praised the clinic's tireless efforts to sterilise children on an industrial scale. Sorry, life-saving medical care, he called it. And there it is. Now, you know how these Americans like to stand outside termination clinics? I'd like them to stand outside there. See what happens. He said, according to Fox News, these inspiring people, like Dr. Mengele and people like that, work tirelessly to create a more equitable future where no child will ever breed because we have sterilised them, and where all those living in the US have equal access to the mass mutilation of children in a life-saving medical care unit. The health secretary, who grew up male and strangely is still male, underwent puberty as a man because he's a man, attended medical school as a man because he's a man, got married as a man because he's a man, and became a father as a man because he's a man, before decided to transition into a man who wears dresses. The Alaska-based company said he visited promotes ideas that children should learn that doctors assign gender to babies by making a guess, which is of course completely wrong, and indeed anyone teaching that to a child needs to be arrested, prosecuted and jailed for abuse. Teachers and educators need to speak to children without assuming that there are only two sexes. No, you don't need to assume that. You know that because there are only two sexes, and in fact the B in LGB means bi, which means two. There's a reason for that. Instead, the word mother in these conversations, they recommend using the term egg producer or carrier. Mother will do though, won't it? For normal people. And if these people can't be cured, then I think they need to be put out of their misery, and indeed put out of our misery. In a bid to degender the language, its style guide also says like gestational parent and birth parent should be used. Nah, mother. The clinic also recommends children be taught to use proper biological terms for body parts. For example, instead of male reproductive organs, to use penis and testicles. I don't object to that. But it is dependent on the age of the child. Now, I would suggest using the correct terms for a child from about 10 onwards. But you can use euphemisms before that. But these people want children to understand everything and explain and show pictures and all that. Fully sexualise these children from very, very young ages, because of course most of them are child molesters, are peds. I mean, you just have to look at the numbers that end up in prison for these kind of things. Massive. So, you got to be very wary of them. Instead of using the word men, their language guides suggest that people use the term XY individual. I'm not an XY individual, I'm a man. And if you call me anything other than man, I'll find it offensive, and I may be physical in my repudiation of your terminology. It's disgusting, it's degenerate, it's aimed at sexualising children, and it's debasing, it's dehumanising people. And of course, who are the great dehumanisers? Who are the ones who dehumanise people before they slaughter them in their millions in their little camps? You got it in one. It's the bad guys from World War II, and that's exactly what these people are. We're not men anymore, we're people with testes, and they don't want that. They don't want the term man or woman used. They want all that. It's all crap. They don't want the word mother used. It's birth parent, carrier, or egg producer. And where does the semen producer put the semen for the egg producer to fertilise the egg? It's in her bonus hole. Not kidding you. These are the terms they want used. The section of the website promoted by Identity Alaska states this website aims to curate resources and connect science educators, students. Well, it isn't science. It's absolutely not science. If you're saying that there's not two genders, it's not science. It's bullshit. Bullshitologists. And you're all pedos anyway. Just last month, Levine, the weirdo, said that children can go through the wrong puberty. No, they can't. They can go through the puberty of their body. They may have a mental issue like you do, but their body's fine. The treatment options for gender-affirming care, child mutilation, for transgender youth, are evidence-based. No, they're not. Not at all. And that is why there's so many people detransitioning and suing, because it's absolute bullshit and there is no evidence. He had been asked about the possibility of keeping transgender youth from seeking body-altering treatment till at least the age of 18. Levine has previously said so-called child mutilation for minors has the highest support from the Biden administration. Yes, in much the same way as Zyklon gas was very much supported by an earlier administration in Germany. Levine's support for child mutilation care for minors would in some cases take away opportunities that Levine had as living as a man for decades before transitioning. His critics had. So he lived as a man and was able to have children, but he doesn't want today's children to have children. He wants ghoulies off at the earliest stage, wombs ripped out. Let's turn you all into sexless, pain-filled drones, never to enjoy your life, never to father or mother a child, like I did. That's what he's saying. I've had all the pluses. Now I get to live as a woman. No, you don't. You get to live as a mentally ill man in a dress. But he wants to mutilate children, sterilise them on a massive scale. And he thinks that that's somehow beneficial to the children. He said, adolescence is hard and puberty is hard. And so's your cock if you're going through it. But what if you're going through the wrong puberty? Please define that. There is no such thing as wrong puberty. What if you feel inside that you are female, but now you're going through a male puberty? Then the problem's in here, not down there. The Assistant Secretary followed up by proclaiming that gender-affirming care, child mutilation, is medical care. Yes, in the same way as Dr. Mengele was a doctor. But I wouldn't necessarily put myself in his hands if I needed a quick appendix ripped out, you know what I mean? He said child mutilation is mental health care. Again, no. Mental health care is mental health care, and it's something that these people need to receive way before they get anywhere near you. A supportive adult can make all the difference. Yes, it's called a psychiatrist. One now might hope that might be a parent or a relative, or a psychiatrist. Sometimes it's a teacher or a coach or a religious advisor. Oh, screw the religious advisors. We know what they do to children. Levine added that for pre-pubertal children, there are no medical procedures done. The standard of care allows them to explore that with therapy. Good. Because we don't want to be mutilating very young children, do we? While there are no surgeries being done on children below the age of 13, there are puberty blockers given to children prior to that time before they reach puberty. So you're chemically castrating them, chemically mutilating a child before it reaches puberty, making it an irreversible process, and then mass sterilizations of children because you're weird and you want to access children. He says, I have no regrets because if I had a transition when I was younger, then I wouldn't have had my children. Oh, so it's okay for you. Things look at, oh, I've had all that, but you're not going to get it. Hypocritical, two-faced, weird fucker. And there he is. Not him. He's another fucking hypocritical, two-faced, weird fucker. But he's mentally ill. But there's the other one. There's the one who says, quick, I want to sterilise children by the hundreds of thousands. I want to mutilate their bodies. I don't want them ever to have children or fun. I want them to live in excruciating pain, mentally tortured, living with an irreversible decision made when they were very young before they understood the consequences. But I get to feel good about it. That's what he says. He is evil. He needs to be prosecuted. He needs the ultimate sanction. A bit of rope would be fine. Just to remove him and all those who agree with him from this earth, because they're all degenerate, evil, child-abusing fuckers. I'm stopping and I'm coming up. Well, it didn't take me long to get sweary on that one. I went away at the end of it. I went and had a cup of tea, and it was like, okay, better go back. Now, what you've just seen is me after I've cut a load of shit out. Let me tell you, I have cut loads out of that. That'd have been about 25 minutes of rants. And I just trimmed it down to get the basics of it and remove most of my anger. But you can see why I object to this. These people sitting there, oh, look at me, I waited until I was late, then I transferred, I've had kids and everything. But I want to take 13-year-olds and younger and make sure that they never, ever breed. I want to give them irreversible medications that destroy their bodies. Then as soon as I can, 13 years of age, I want to whip their ghoulies off their boys. I want to whip their wombs out if they're girls. And then, we can change their identity. We can control them. Yeah, sure, they're going to get mentally ill and top themselves a few years later, but that doesn't matter. The battle must go on, and they're using children as the shock troops in their battle. Well, I think this battle needs to end, and I think it's a quite easy way of ending it, especially in America. Not so much in Britain. But, it is what it is. They're all sick fuckers, and I can't stand them. And they keep pushing in and pushing in and pushing in. And you have to keep asking, why do they want to be close to children? All the time. And why does everything they do revolve around children, around schools, around libraries, about putting terminology into children? They're all about sexualising children. Well, it's not really a question. We all know. And I'm stopping now. Thank you very much for watching. Please, if you like this, do press the like button. And definitely, if you do like, please share the video, share the hell out of it. And finally, if you can, please subscribe. Not all of my videos are like this. Mostly political, but sometimes this just gets me angry. So there we go. I've managed to maintain it quite well. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and guard your children with your life. Bye.